Jodi, Anna.
In the house.
How are you?
I'm good.
You know I love you so much.
I know. Well, I love you too, and I love your glasses. You're
Oh.
always fashionable.
Well, you know, glasses are to cover up wrinkles of women of a certain age, of which I am not. You know, we've known each other for a really long time, and I've watched your little ones go from little tiny little beanies. I think your youngest was 2.
Gosh, that's amazing.
Or
Yeah.
younger even. Yeah. And then, you know, we've just kept this bond. And what I really love about you as a woman leader is I've watched you navigate a huge amount of growth with yourself, your productions, your company, but most importantly, your kids.
Yeah.
And my children are, my youngest is in their 30s. I had her when I was 3. And, but your kids are right in a generation that I don't have experience with. In fact, my grandchildren are the age of your kids. So I don't know what it's like to be a parent today. So I really would love for you to share what you as a parent are experiencing and what, you know, what you could offer parents today. Because it's not the same world we grew up in.
No, it's not the same world. I mean, I know even from the way that I was raised, it's so dramatically different today. But I think one of the beauties of parenting today is that kids have a seat at the table in the family more than I think any other generation. They have this voice, and we've always wanted to respect that, to get to know who they are without putting our own, you know, identity on them. But the challenge I think of today is that there's so many outside influences, especially media. Just social media it's a game changer. And typically, I would say 99% of the time, it's a negative game changer. You know, it's just something that's always there. So, I mean, media, and, you know, in talking with other parents across the board, I think social media and media in general is the big challenge with parenting today. So, I mean, I always tell parents, just delay it as long as you can. You know, don't let the phone be the babysitter. You know, any ways that you can kind of turn your world a little more analog. I think it's so healthy for kids today.
I think that's really important. And then you've got this whole safety thing where we're giving kids cell phones so they can stay connected to parents when they're out somewhere. Right. How do you manage that? Because
not always well. I mean, our son, he would laugh because he's, you know, I mean, he's about to turn 16 and he doesn't have a phone. Whereas our daughter was given a phone much younger. So I am the mom that picks up all the random calls because I never know when it's him, you know, calling from someone else's phone.
Right.
But the unique thing is that our daughter was in a time when parents weren't as aware of what social media and the dangers of cell phones. And then my son's generation, you know, all the parents of his friends are in the same boat as us. And so many of his friends don't have phones either because they're all like, we're not going to do what we did with our older sibling, you know, with you. We're keeping the technology back.
So he's got friends, parents that are supporting that. That's excellent, but not everybody
has that.
So here I'm wondering, so in my day growing up, our parents could say, you're not hanging around with that kid. Now with the access with social media, they're bombarded with people and they're influencers, like you had said, that are giving them messaging, convincing them that, you know, the limitations or maybe the security that the parents are offering is more restrictive and controlling. Have you had to address that with your kids, and how do you navigate that conversation when they're like, everybody else has got a phone? Or
it's not easy. I mean, we've towed a hard line, but I don't think every parent can. And I understand that there's so many different situations. I honestly don't judge parents because I know that the landscape of parenting is so challenging for everybody. But I think going back to having relationship with your kids, having dialogue, making sure that they're aware of what they're for or against and why they believe what they believe, and that they're hearing both sides of the conversation, right? They're going to hear a lot more conversations about every topic. So at the dinner table, you know, the more whatever that family time looks like, whether it's at the family table, whether it's, you know, every family.
hang on, it's my private jet coming to get me. It'll be here in a few minutes. Oh, it's landing. I've only got 2 more minutes to go. Did you hear that? That's the reality of filming outside. So.
That's right.
Anyways, yeah.
Yes, but no, I mean, look, every family dynamic is different. But when making that connection time how you connect with each child is different. Making sure that connection there, I don't know if it's ever been more important than it is today.
I agree, and I think that's the difference. You can't compete against outside relationships, but you can create the bond so strong between you. That means talking to them,
Yes.
putting your own phone down,
Right.
turning off your own computer and saying, hey, can I connect with you? And sometimes they're like, no, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I've got the door locked. I don't want you in here.
But creating that safe space for them
Yeah.
to be able to bring a lot of different conversations to your table where you're not going to get upset, they're not going to be punished. Navigating that is unique because when kids really open up to you, it can be scary as a parent.
Yeah.
But can you be brave enough to show up and really be there in a way that allows for a true dialogue? I think that's so important today.
Yeah. And I think moms and dads and the complication of family environments, everybody individually has to figure out how they're going to navigate those things. And the best thing to do is to start off with not judging yourself, having
Right.
compassion and care,
Yes.
and being open. And we're going to come up with piles of ideas in the future.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
for right now, I hear you telling me that the best thing you've done is put some boundaries in place that are manageable.
Right.
Getting your kids involved in the conversation to the degree that they can, hearing them as individuals, and then building a strong relationship with them to the best of your ability.
Right.
And if you're a parent who's got emotional barriers yourself and don't know how, even sitting down and saying to the kids, I don't know how to relate to you,
right.
teach me.
That's right. That's right. It's
Teach
the
me.
vulnerability. And I think vulnerability is the way to connection.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to, I think gone are the days where it's the parents' way or the highway, where the parents don't have an understanding voice and they're not willing to learn also.
Right.
I think there's so much we can learn from this younger generation.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.